Unveiling the Unseen, are end-of-times prophecies the key to spiritual awakening. I never expected a single dream to change everything. The night was alive with whispers, shadows dancing like secrets waiting to be unveiled. I found myself standing in an endless field of golden light, enveloped in warmth and peace. But then, everything turned cold. My heart raced with a fear I couldn't explain, a vague sense that the world was on the brink of something colossal. In that dream, I saw visions of chaos, cities crumbling, natural disasters raging, and people torn apart by fear. It all seemed so vivid, like a surreal film playing out before my very eyes. I woke up in a cold sweat, the echoes of my own screams still reverberating in my mind. My breath felt shallow, and I questioned everything. Was there a truth here, hidden in the darkness? I sat on my bed, staring into the corners of my room, expecting something to emerge from the shadows. I sought solace in meditation, trying to unravel the tangled threads of confusion within me. I closed my eyes and felt the energy of the universe swirling around. In my mind's eye, I saw signs, flickering lights outside my window, trees dancing in the wind, peculiar patterns in the clouds. Nature spoke in whispers, and I felt it urging me to listen. I could almost hear the ground trembling beneath me, a prelude to upheaval. Each sign seemed to carry a message. Was it a warning? A call to action? Everything felt interconnected, like pieces of a greater puzzle. I wrote fervently in my journal, tracing those thoughts back to ancient prophecies and end-of-times tales that had been told for centuries. Were these stories mere folklore, or were they foundations for awakening? My hands trembled at the thought, my spirit exhilarated and terrified all at once. Questions surged through my mind like a tidal wave. What did it all mean? Was this my destiny calling? I looked out the window, the sun beginning to rise and paint the sky in brilliant hues. But a dark cloud lingered at the edge of my vision, a stark reminder that not all was right in the world. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of uncertainty press down on me. The urgency of it all was palpable, like a drumbeat in my chest. I had to uncover the truth behind these prophecies. Something awaited me just beyond the veil of understanding. But as I stood there frozen, a terrifying thought gripped me. Was I ready to face whatever lay ahead? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The days that followed my unsettling dream felt like navigating through thick fog. Each morning, I awoke with an ember of uncertainty sparking within me, igniting an insatiable curiosity to uncover the threads connecting my experiences to something greater. I wandered through my daily life, buoyed by vivid recollections of that dream, the field of golden light, fleeting glimpses of chaos that weighed heavily on my mind. I turned to readings that beckoned me, texts steeped in the mysticism of the ages. Each turn of the page revealed insights that stirred my soul, but answers eluded me like shadows slipping from my grasp. I stumbled upon a passage that described a prophetic vision of a bridge between worlds, and imminent transformation, signifying a time when humanity would awaken to its true essence. The words resonated deep within me, a siren call that felt both familiar and foreign. One afternoon, driven by an invisible force, I found myself in a quaint bookstore tucked away in a forgotten corner of the city. The air smelled richly of aged paper, mingled with a subtle hint of incense. Each shelf seemed to hold whispers of souls who had searched before me. I shuffled through the aisles until a book entitled Awakening the Hidden Within caught my eye, its spine shimmering like a promise. With trembling hands, I opened it, and the words spilled forth like a waterfall. The author spoke of synchronicities, moments woven into the tapestry of existence that often pointed toward our paths. As I read, memories jolted to the surface: an unexpected encounter with a stranger who had glimpsed into my heart, the alignment of astonishing coincidences in my life, an ancient symbol that had appeared numerous times yet remained unexamined. A new light shone within me, Perhaps the answers I sought were not solely hidden in the pages of sacred texts but in the intricate web of life I was part of. These threads were alive, speaking in symbols and signs, nudging me to decipher their meanings. Would this lead me to the truth behind the prophecies and the impending change? As I emerged from the bookstore, a sense of purpose washed over me. I felt as if I were on the brink of something profound. The sky above shifted, dark clouds swirling in a dance of chaos, matching the turmoil within me. A gust of wind rustled the leaves as if nature had conspired to draw my attention. It was in this moment of turmoil that an elderly woman approached me, her eyes sparkling with ancient wisdom. "Dear seeker," she said, her voice a melodic whisper, "the signs you pursue will guide you if only you dare to follow them." I was taken aback, her words stirring something deep within my heart. It was as if she could sense the intimate struggle of my spirit. Yet, as she turned away, an unease lingered. Was her presence an omen or a guiding light? Intrigued, I sought out the destination that might hold further answers somewhere that resonated with the signs I had witnessed in my dreams. I found myself at a local park, known for its gatherings of meditation and spiritual exploration. People of all walks of life mingled, sharing insights with open hearts. I joined a circle where voices spoke of their own awakening experiences, tales of inner vision guiding them like a compass toward deeper truths. As each story unfolded, my heart quickened, resonating with their shared experiences. The visions of a world on the cusp of transformation mirrored my own. Yet, amidst the connections, a question loomed like a shadow: what was the nature of this awakening, and at what cost would it come? Nights turned into weeks as I journeyed deeper into this labyrinth of discovery, following clues and observing life with heightened awareness. Yet, as I lay awake reflecting on my experiences, it struck me that the revelations I sought often felt just out of reach, shrouded in layers of mystery. What awaited me at the end of this quest? Would I find clarity or merely unravel more questions? The heart of the enigma beat steadily within, beckoning me to dive deeper into the unknown. As I pondered the fragile threads connecting our world to the unseen, a new reflection formed. In chasing the signs of impending change, was I also moving toward my own transformation, and what would that truly mean for those around me? The horizon held vast mysteries still waiting to be unveiled. Days melded into each other, a fluid continuum where time seemed to stretch and contract, echoing the rhythm of my thoughts. The park had become a sanctuary, an agora for seekers hungry for understanding. Each gathering nurtured my evolving perception, a shared quest binding our disparate journeys. The gentle hum of conversation resonated around me, punctuated by laughter, contemplative silence, and the rustle of leaves absorbing the wisdom of shared experiences. One evening, a guest speaker captivated our circle, an enigmatic figure cloaked in an aura of tranquility. He spoke of ancient prophecies, weaving tales of civilization standing on the precipice of lasting change. His presence radiated calm, yet his words draped a blanket of unease over the gathering. "Prophecies can be both warning and promise," he intoned, eyes ablaze with fervor. "For every ending, there is an awakening, a wise child learning to walk. The key lies not in fear but in embracing transformation." I leaned in closer, pulled by the gravity of his conviction. Stories of humanity's struggle to evolve echoed within me, reverberating against the walls of my consciousness. I wondered if perhaps, nestled within these ancient predictions, lay the very transformation I sensed bubbling beneath the surface of my own life. What if the upheaval foretold was not meant to induce panic but to awaken us to a higher state of being? After the talk, I approached the speaker, the need for clarity drawing me like a moth to a flame. "How can one prepare for such monumental changes?" I asked, the vulnerability of my question hanging in the air like the fading twilight around us. He regarded me with a knowing glint, as if he had seen many seekers standing on the edge of the same chasm I gazed into. "It is not about preparation in the traditional sense," he said softly. "It's about alignment with your essence. Seek the stillness within, for therein lies the compass guiding your path. Listen closely to your own journey, and the signs along the way will illuminate your understanding." His words echoed in my mind long after he departed. The notion of stillness felt almost paradoxical amid the chaos brewing in the world. What does it mean to find calm when surrounded by noise? I could visualize the bridge the one described in my reading standing strong yet delicate, waiting for me to traverse it towards the light. Days turned into scattered experiences of revelations that lay before me, windowed into my consciousness by the kindness of strangers. One chance encounter led me to a local artist's exhibition, each piece echoing the themes of renewal and transformation. I found a canvas drenched in vibrant colors, swirling shapes converged to form a magnificent phoenix rising from the ashes. Captivated, I felt the heat of its rebirth reach deep into my chest. In art, there were whispers of awakening, and I was beginning to grasp that creativity was another facet of divine expression. In my yearning to understand the path that lay ahead, I confided in a fellow seeker I had grown close to, sharing the kaleidoscope of my thoughts, my fears, my hopes, and the maternal ache for clarity. What if this chaos we witness is merely the shedding of old skin? She mused, her eyes glistening with insight. Perhaps as individuals, we must also wrestle with releasing what no longer serves us. The weight of her words stirred the depths of my heart. I considered the notion of personal transformation as a precursor to something global. What if the prophecies were more than mere warnings of doom? In leading us toward awareness, could they be a call to transcend our limitations? As such ideas melded with the tapestry of my thoughts, I began to embrace the allure of the unknown, where revelations sprouted like wildflowers amidst adversity. Yet, the questions loomed larger than before, morphing and multiplying like the stars scattered across the night sky. Was I capable of relinquishing the familiar? Would embracing change demand a sacrifice I was not prepared to make? The uncertainty felt both exhilarating and terrifying. The cycle of destruction and birth echoed in the world around me, mirrored in my own heartbeat. In moments of solitude, while wandering through the park, I would often sit beneath a grand oak tree, its gnarled branches shielding me from the tumultuous world. There, I would meditate on the fabric of existence, absorbing the whispers of nature and the rustling leaves reminding me of the interconnectedness of all beings. An insatiable question lingered dimly in the shadows of my mind: how could one reconcile personal transformation with the world's deeper changes? Like threads woven into a cosmic tapestry, they seemed to intertwine and pull apart seamlessly. With each breath, I felt drawn toward a new mission, to approach life with open hands and a longing heart, prepared to explore the labyrinth of change without truly knowing the destination. What awaited me on this uncertain path? Would I discover illumination or dissolve deeper into a quest for meaning? The inevitable yet tantalizing question remained: in this journey of healing and awakening, where did my soul fit among the prophecies that foretold an end, yet promised a beginning? The horizon whispered softly, urging me forward into the vast unknown. As the days continued to blend seamlessly into one another, a kaleidoscope of experiences began to shape my understanding of the world. Each moment felt charged with potential, a hidden magic waiting to be unraveled. I found myself drawn to the park with increasing frequency, the hub of transformation now a central pulse in my life. It was a convergence where disparate energies exchanged vibrancy, and nestled among these currents was a question as old as time: how can we find the sublime echoing beneath chaos? One evening, succumbing to the twilight's beckoning warmth, I noticed an unfamiliar figure sitting quietly on the bench opposite mine. Wrapped in a scarf woven with intricate patterns, she appeared as enigmatic as the story swirling around her. Curiosity sparked within me, and I dared approach her. As I sat down, her deep gaze met mine, and in that instant, the world around us dimmed into insignificance. With a voice soft yet grounded, she spoke: "The universe often sends us signs concealed in the ordinary." I felt as though she had uncovered a layer of my soul, revealing the yearnings I had not articulated. "I am a seeker of stories," she continued, "and there is a delicate truth woven through the narratives we inhabit. Sometimes, it is in the shadows that we uncover our truest selves." "Stories," I echoed, reflecting on the power they held. "Are they mere reflections of our existence, or could they be a guide for our awakening?" Her smile flickered like light through branches. "Both, and more." She leaned closer. "Your story holds the potential to bridge the eternal past and an infinite future. Each chapter births new energies, allowing for rebirth." Her words hung in the air like an incantation, stirring the depths of my mind. That night, I fell into a deep sleep filled with vivid dreams, each one echoing with layers of meaning. I wandered through ghostly landscapes, stepping into the shoes of figures from distant eras. The imagery of the phoenix returned, a spectral fire rising against obsidian skies. I felt the weight of grief from past narratives, the anguish of countless souls seeking resolution and rebirth. These dreams left me gasping, wrestling with a duality, the reverberation of history's pain and the promise of healing intertwined and unfolding, awakening to a new day. I couldn't shake the weight of those dreams. It became evident that the stories we carry are interwoven, a tapestry of collective consciousness that shapes both individual experience and societal destiny. I wondered if the art of storytelling itself was a sacred act, one that not only illuminates paths but also catalyzes transformation. The following week brought an unexpected invitation, a gathering focused on myth and storytelling at a local community center. Enthusiasm simmered within me as I entered the space, settled among fluttering curtains and soft lighting. The warmth of shared intentions enveloped the room, which was filled with seekers hungry to connect on deeper levels. Stories unfurled like blossoms, each voice added a thread to the fabric being created. As I sat among the group, a powerful realization dawned upon me: our narratives mattered. Through the lens of myth, we could explore the secrets of existence, the chaos beckoning our attention. One participant shared a story of loss transformed into artistry, revealing how grief could become a source of empowerment. Another spoke of rediscovering joy after years shrouded in uncertainty, the subtext weaving buoyancy through shadows. With each tale, my heart swelled, reflecting the symphonic nature of our experiences. What if, I mused, the end of time's prophecies were akin to a rite of passage, inviting us to awaken to our fullest selves, urging us not to cower, but to create, to transform? In this moment, the chaos of the world outside felt less daunting. It became part of a greater narrative in which we were all co-authors. Yet, as the evening drew to a close, whispers of doubt lingered. Would this newfound understanding solidify into a compass, or would it merely fade like mist under the dawn of reality? How could we harness this awakening collectively while grappling with personal upheaval? Leaving the gathering, the night air felt charged with potential. I paused, gazing up at the tapestry of stars, each glimmering light a reminder of the stories yet untold. As I stood pondering the mysteries hovering just out of reach, a lingering question tugged at the corners of my consciousness. In this grand narrative of existence, how do we stitch together the fragments of our individual tales to weave a harmonious collective story that honors both the endings and beginnings? What role would I play in this unfolding saga, and what shadows remained untouched by light? Days passed in a fluid mixture of anticipation and reflection. The stories I had encountered weighed upon my heart, igniting a fervent desire to understand the deeper layers of existence. I returned to the park, lured by the magnetic pull of the unknown, hoping to encounter the enigmatic figure once more. Instead, the landscape was quiet, adorned with the rustling leaves, each whispering secrets that had yet to be revealed. As I strolled the familiar path, a memory flickered, an old children's book about a magical well that granted wishes to those who dared to seek. The well's invitation was simple: throw in a stone imbued with a question. I couldn't help but wonder, if I were to toss a question into my own metaphorical well, what would I wish to discover? Just then, I noticed a small stone glinting in the sunlight at my feet. It was an ordinary pebble, yet it seemed to resonate with an energy all its own. I picked it up and cradled it within my palm. Without hesitation, the inquiry that bubbled to the surface was clear: what is the essence of my purpose in this unpredictable narrative? With my heart full of hope, I transferred my intentions into the stone, threw it into a nearby pond, and watched the ripples spread across the surface in ever-widening circles. To my astonishment, a gentle voice broke the reverie. "You must listen to the silence between the echoes," it whispered, and I turned to see an elderly man sitting cross-legged on a nearby rock, his eyes closed in meditation. Curiosity obliged me to approach him. "What do you mean by the silence between the echoes?" I asked, his eyes opened slowly, reflecting a depth of wisdom. In every story, there are moments of hushing gaps when time stands still, and clarity arises. "These are the spaces where the universe speaks, and the soul remembers," he responded. "It is not always the words that matter, but what lies in the stillness afterward." I contemplated his words and felt a wave of understanding wash over me. Moments of silence, I realized, are often lost in the cacophony of existence. Yet, they hold the keys to our most profound insights and the gentle nudges towards awakening. Encouraged to sit beside him, I confessed my ongoing exploration of narratives and purpose. He nodded knowingly. Every soul is a storyteller. Your essence weaves through time, transcending lifetimes. The struggle lies not in finding the story but in recognizing your role within the larger tapestry. Suddenly, before I could respond, the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a golden hue over the pond. Shadows danced across its surface, revealing patterns that seemed to pulsate with life. I marveled at the interplay of light and dark. "Do you see?" the old man asked, gesturing toward the water. "The reflections create depth. Life, too, consists of intricately woven shades. Every trial and triumph, every joy and heartache adds to the wholeness of your journey." As twilight embraced the peaceful park, the veil between worlds felt thinner. The threads of fate tugged at me as visions of interconnected lives danced in my mind, illuminating a deeper truth. What if the end of time's prophecies weren't just about doom but rather held a transformative potential? Were they harbingers of rebirth, urging us to awaken and reclaim our stories with vibrant intent? The man's voice broke through my reverie, grounding the moment. Carry your question in every heartbeat, for each inquiry aligns your energy with the cosmos. The answers you seek will unveil themselves in layers, leading you through mysteries yet to unravel. As the sun surrendered to the horizon, casting a cascade of colors across the sky, I felt an awakening blooming within me. Yet, the vastness of possibility weighed heavy on my heart. How do I embrace both the individual and the collective threads of these narratives? And within this ever-unfolding story, would I dare to listen to the silence that cradles the answers I seek? With this unsolved riddle enveloping my mind, I turned to leave, heart awash with wonder and trepidation. What if the journey toward enlightenment was not just found in seeking but also in wholeheartedly surrendering to the unknown? Would a leap into the void be the very catalyst of my awakening? The following days were woven together with threads of anticipation and reflection, as if the universe conspired to reveal a hidden truth just beyond my grasp. The park became my sanctuary, a sacred space where I could explore the mysteries of life without the clamor of everyday worries. Each visit greeted me with the familiar rustle of leaves, yet today felt different, charged with an almost electric energy. I returned to the pond, recalling the old man's words and the promise of silence whispered between echoes. As I gazed into the water, the surface shimmered, reflecting the sky's canvas of colors upon it, a living tapestry embroidered with the day's fleeting moments. But instead of solitude, I sensed a presence nearby. A woman sat on a bench, her face partially obscured by a wide-brimmed hat. Something in her posture hinted at a depth that caught my curiosity. "Excuse me," I ventured, unsure of what devoted inquiry might arise, "may I join you?" She inclined her head invitingly. "Of course. We are all seekers wandering beneath the same sky," she replied, her voice rich as the earth after rain. Her words stirred something within me, and our conversation flowed effortlessly. As we spoke of life's intricate web stories of loss, joy, and transformation, she began to weave her own narrative, one that echoed the themes I had been wrestling with. "I once thought prophecies were scripts I had to follow, maps leading to fated destinations," she shared, adjusting her hat to shield her eyes from the setting sun. "But with time, I learned that they are invitations to become the architects of our tales, prompts urging us to confront our fears and embrace our gifts." Her insight rang true. I recalled my own struggles with destiny and control, realizing how often I clung to certainty, fearing the unknown as a dark void rather than a canvas yet to be painted. What if the chaos is the catalyst? I pondered aloud, what if our tribulations are not signs of doom but invitations to awaken? The woman smiled knowingly. "Precisely. When faced with the end of a chapter, we often resist the turning of the page, fearing the unfamiliar. But sometimes, in that very moment of darkness, we can discover a light that prompts rebirth, a more authentic self waiting to emerge." I sat in contemplation, feeling the weight of her wisdom settle deep within me. As twilight deepened, I glanced over to the water once more. The ripples were sharper now, distorting the reflections of trees and sky. It dawned on me that each distortion mirrored life's unpredictability, an invitation to explore the unseen pathways that wove through our lives. "Have you ever thrown a question into the universe?" I asked, recalling the stone I had cast into the pond, infusing it with my longing for understanding. Her eyes sparkled with a hint of mirth. "I do it often. There is a liberation in releasing our questions into possibility. It allows us to listen rather than constantly seek. She gestured toward the pond. A well, perhaps, or simply a collection of answers waiting to unfurl. Inspired, I closed my eyes, conjuring an inquiry. What should I embrace to honor both my individuality and the collective? As I opened my eyes, I saw her gaze drifting away, focused on a flickering firefly dancing through the air. The essence of your inquiry lies in connection. Each spark signifies a shared story, a reminder that your journey is intertwined with countless others. And in that moment, clarity washed over me. I perceived that perhaps the journey toward awakening isn't solely about finding solid ground, but about embracing the fluidity of our existence, the intertwining narratives, the diverse voices. The enchantment of the scene sparked new questions that bubbled within me like a bubbling stream. Could it be that the end of time's prophecies beckon us to surrender to the flux of our existence, urging us to dissolve boundaries that separate us? What if the darkness we fear is merely an opportunity for transformation, a mere shadow waiting for our courage to breathe light into it? As night wrapped the park in a soft embrace, I felt a deep yearning to further explore the layers of my own spirit. A realization washed over me. Awakening does not require grand revelations but can be found in the simplicity of being, in the stillness that silences the noise of the world. With my heart full of questions and new possibilities, I stood to leave, contemplating the connection I felt to the woman I had just met, as if she were a thread woven into my story, inviting me to plunge deeper into this collective journey. As I walked away, I pondered still. In this vast, interconnected narrative, how far would I go to embrace the unknown as my true awakening? The park felt alive the next day, a symphony of gentle sound and vibrant color whispering secrets to those who would listen. I returned, drawn as if by an invisible thread, eager to immerse myself in the ongoing exploration of my spirit. The sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting playful patterns on the ground, illuminating my path even as uncertainties lingered in my heart. As I approached the pond once more, I noticed an elderly man sitting cross-legged on the grass nearby, his presence striking in its stillness. His gray hair flowed like wisps of clouds, and his eyes, a deep well of wisdom, seemed to hold stories not yet told. The woman from before was absent, yet I could feel the echoes of her words mingling with the soft rustle of nature around me. Compelled by curiosity, I took a seat across from him. "What brings you to this sacred space?" I inquired, my voice barely above a whisper, afraid to disrupt the quiet spell enveloping us. He opened his eyes slowly, a serene smile gracing his lips. "I come here to listen to the whispers of the wind, the tales of the water, and the heartbeat of the earth," he replied, his tone like a soft breeze. "Everything has a story, if one takes the time to hear it. I often wonder about my own story," I confessed, feeling vulnerable yet open. "Are our lives scripted, or do we write our own destinies?" The man contemplated this, his gaze turned toward the pond. "It may be both," he said finally, "a delicate dance between what has been woven into existence and the choices we make amidst the threads. The prophecies, as you call them, serve not as chains but as guides, nudging us to confront our inner shadows and follow paths unseen." His words struck a chord deep within me, resonating with the questions that had stirred since my encounter with the woman. "How do I know when I'm straying from my true path?" I asked, eager to absorb his wisdom. That is the essence of the journey," he replied. "When your heart feels heavy, or your spirit dims, it is your compass indicating a divergence. Each emotion is a compass bearing, nudging you back to your center and whispering truths that weave your essence into the tapestry of being." I leaned back, pondering this. The heaviness of expectation, the fear of making wrong choices, they all seemed to cloud my vision, filtering the light that had begun to flicker within me through the enchantment of uncertainty. "Have you ever faced a darkness so profound you thought it might swallow you whole?" I ventured, drawn to his wealth of knowledge. "Indeed," he replied, his voice tranquil yet imbued with depth. "I have danced with darkness many times. In those moments, I learned that shadows can reveal facets of ourselves we strive to avoid. It is through the embrace of what frightens us that we uncover fragments of light, illuminating our purpose and connecting us to others who walk similar paths." I felt a deepening sense of connection with him, as if he was not merely sharing knowledge but inviting me into a wider circle where our stories could intertwine. In that instant, a small ripple broke the pond's surface, a flitting reminder that even the stillest waters could conceal movements beneath. What do you believe lies beyond our understanding of life, of prophecies? I dared to ask, searching for clues that might lead me closer to truth. He breathed deeply, casting his gaze toward the horizon. Beyond understanding lies surrender, the acceptance that we are both players and observers, that we are intricately woven into the grand narrative of existence itself. Prophecies may seem defined, yet they ebb and flow, reflecting the choices of every soul connected to them. Perhaps these are not just visions of doom but invitations to awaken the sacred within us. As the sun dipped lower, casting golden hues upon the pond, I felt my heart swell with newfound clarity. The intertwining of stories, the acceptance of fear and darkness as a path toward growth, all these became threads woven into my own narrative tapestry, beckoning me to explore further. Yet, underlying this beautiful realization, a question remained: if the darkness holds the keys to our greatest transformation, what other veils must I lift to uncover deeper truths? Was the universe whispering to me still, urging me to delve into shadows I had yet to acknowledge, or was it inviting me to embrace the light that accompanied them? With these thoughts cradled like a fragile seed, I rose. The park whispered farewell, enveloping me in a soothing embrace as I ventured away, pondering still the dance between light and darkness. How would I learn to embrace this duality as I continued to unravel the story of my life? The following day, as dawn broke with a mist that wrapped the world in ethereal silence, I felt an undeniable pull toward the park once more. My heart compelled me to return, as if each visit was a ritual in the sacred unfolding of my journey. The dew-kissed grass sparkled under the weak sunlight, and the air was rich with the sweet scent of earth awakening to morning. Approaching the pond, I found the elderly man seated as before, his posture unchanged, embodying an unwavering presence even amidst the subtle shifts of nature. This time, however, my gaze was drawn to the surface of the water. Small flecks of light danced across its expanse, and I recalled his words about the whispers hidden in the silence. "Good morning," I breathed, settling beside him once more, ready to dive deeper into the mysteries we shared. The tranquil waters reflected my thoughts, shimmering with the potential of hidden revelations. "Yesterday, you shared a glimpse of light within darkness. But what if we fear the shadows too much to explore them?" He turned to me, his expression a mixture of understanding and compassion. "Fear is a natural companion on the journey. It is born from the unknown, and yet," he paused, allowing the weight of his words to settle, "it is within that very unknown where transformation lies. Often our greatest resistance is merely an echo of past experiences." I nodded, feeling the truth of his insight echo within the spaces of my own heart. But how does one prepare for such a confrontation with the shadows? How do we summon the courage to explore those depths? "Courage is not the absence of fear," he replied, his voice steady and deliberate, as if he were weaving a spell of wisdom. "Rather, it is the willingness to act in spite of it. Embrace rituals that anchor you. Meditation, drawing, or even journaling can serve as vessels to navigate the unseen realms. Allow your creativity to pour forth. It is a direct line to your spirit, often untainted by self-doubt." A flicker of inspiration ignited within me. The notion of creativity as a conduit to understanding felt like an invitation, a call to action that urged me to engage with both my light and shadow. What if I fail to express myself? What if the act reveals more darkness within me? I questioned, feeling vulnerable. "Releasing self-judgment is essential," he counseled gently. "Every stroke, every word, and every thought has validity. There is beauty in the process of becoming, in the unfolding of your own story. It is not about the destination, but the journey itself, the lessons learned along the way, and the connections forged through shared vulnerability." As he spoke, I felt the weight of my fears begin to lift, replaced by threads of hope weaving through my spirit. I realized that perhaps the shadows I feared were not meant to be vanquished but rather understood as part of a larger narrative. Suddenly, from the corner of my eye, I noticed a flicker of movement by the pond's edge. A small dragonfly, brilliant in its iridescence, hovered briefly before landing gracefully on a lily pad. Its delicate wings shimmered in the sunlight, ephemeral yet striking. "Look," the old man murmured, his gaze following mine. "The dragonfly symbolizes change, transformation, and the courage to embrace new beginnings. It serves as a reminder that fleeting moments can anchor profound lessons." Watching the dragonfly, I pondered how its transient beauty mirrored my own journey. In moments of vulnerability, I could not deny that beauty, wisdom, and transformation could be perilous yet worthwhile. What do you believe happens when we ignore the signs calling us toward change? I asked, my curiosity piqued. He sighed softly, like the whisper of a breeze through branches. Ignoring the call can lead to stagnation, and life may present more potent reminders to redirect us. The universe dances in symphony with each choice we make, and resistance often births discomfort. Embrace the lessons within both the signs and the shadows, for they create pathways toward authentic living. With those words, a wave of realization washed over me, echoing the depths of introspection that awaited. I felt a burgeoning desire to further explore the art of listening not only to the external world but also to the inner landscapes of my spirit. There was a deeper mystery calling, one that demanded exploration beyond the known. As the sun climbed higher into the sky, I rose once more, heart aflame with the prospect of untold possibilities. Each step echoed with the awareness of duality, the coexistence of darkness and light, fear and courage. What other signs had I yet to heed? How would I dare to traverse the hidden landscapes of my own soul while unfolding the narrative bound by prophecies? In this enigmatic embrace of the day, the question loomed, is it through acknowledging the shadows that we truly illuminate the depths of our being, or is there a different source of light yet to be discovered? The park, with its rustling leaves and glistening waters, cradled my thoughts as I stepped away, eager to confront the unfolding story that awaited. The next morning, the sun stretched lazily across the horizon, casting long shadows that danced playfully over the dew-laden grass. I felt an irresistible pull, a magnetic force urging me back to the park. The previous day's revelations lingered in my mind, each one resonating like the gentle chime of a bell, calling me to a deeper understanding. Upon my arrival, the familiar sight of the pond greeted me. The water shimmered like a vast canvas, inviting but inscrutable. The elderly man sat at the edge as before, his stillness a stark reminder of the peace that can be found in presence. As I approached, I noticed his gaze was fixed on a cluster of clouds, swirling and intersecting above us. "Good morning," I said, settling beside him once again, eager to delve further into this labyrinth of self-discovery. "Morning has a way of revealing what lies beneath the surface," he replied without shifting his attention from the sky. "Today asks you to contemplate the converging paths of your thoughts." "What do you perceive?" I followed his gaze, the clouds forming shapes that stirred memories and ponderings within me. They transformed from soft billows to ominous figures, swirling in a mix of light and darkness. "It looks like a tempest and a calm intertwining, a struggle and a peace," I mused. "Is that how we experience life, a merging of dualities?" "Indeed," he said finally, turning to me with a knowing smile. "Life's greatest lessons are revealed in the tussle between opposing forces. It is an interplay, a cosmic dance. In the midst of turmoil, do we find strength or succumb to despair? Consider what happens when your mind wanders into these shadows." I reflected on my recent encounters with fear and resistance, both swirling within me like the clouds above. "Perhaps it is in confrontation that I learn who I truly am," I responded, my voice slightly trembling with the weight of realization. "Confrontation without intention can lead to confusion. Seek the wisdom hidden within the shadows, rather than being drawn into their depths," he advised, his tone filled with the gravity of lived experience. "Every storm is fleeting, revealing the sky once more. Yet, the lessons linger." As I absorbed his words, a sudden gust of wind scattered leaves around us like whispers from the earth. One leaf, bright and golden, flickered down to my lap. Reflecting on its vibrant hue, I wondered about its journey. The once lively branch now parted from its source, yet it offered life and beauty as it surrendered to the flow of the universe. "What does surrendering to life teach us?" I asked, intrigued by the symbolism emanating from the leaf. "Surrender is not defeat, but liberation," he explained, his eyes sparkling. "Only through surrender do we discover the currents that guide us. We cling to false securities, our preconceptions, our fears. Yet in the gentle yielding to experience, we find the deeper truths waiting for us." I pondered this notion of surrender, the tension between the desire to control and the trust required to let go. The questions brewed within: how do I know when to hold on and when to release? What signs whisper to me in both moments of chaos and clarity? As if responding to my introspection, a brilliant rainbow arched across the sky, a wondrous embrace of colors embracing one another. It felt like an omen, a promise, perhaps? Look, the man said, gesturing to the spectral display. Rainbows remind us that light persists even after storms pass. They illuminate the beauty that emerges after tumult, urging us to remain open to the transformations that life brings. Is this a sign? I whispered, awestruck by its transient beauty. Life is filled with signs, but they speak hardest to those willing to listen, he replied. The corners of his mouth turned upwards in a smile that carried both warmth and depth. As you seek your truth, consider this: are you navigating the storms within, or are you avoiding them at all costs? My heart raced with the implications of his words. The storm within me had been a lingering tempest, a cacophony of doubts and desires yearning for resolution. But was avoiding it all this time only sharpening the edge of my unease? With a newfound resolve, I vowed to confront the shadows more fully, to embrace the conflicting emotions of fear and trust as companions on my journey. If there was a truth buried in the storm I feared, perhaps it was time to explore its depths. As the rainbow faded, leaving a bittersweet tinge in the air, I stood to leave, the park basking in a tender glow that urged me onward. What truths lay in wait if I dared to seek them? What revelations awaited in the corners of my spirit, and how would these truths shape my existence? With each step away from the pond, the questions deepened. In a world where shadows resist light, how might embracing these very shadows illuminate the path to authentic living? And as I ventured into my day, the fabric of existence seemed to weave ever more intricate patterns, demanding exploration. What hidden colors and aspects of my spirit still remained unseen, patiently awaiting my invitation to discover them? The mysteries whispered on the wind, beckoning me toward an unfolding destiny, and I felt alive at the prospect. The air felt different the moment I approached the park that day. It carried whispers of change, an unseen rhythm pulsing through the very essence of the environment around me. The sun hung high yet tender, casting golden rays that danced with the shadows of the trees. Each step toward the pond resonated with a feeling of anticipation, a sensation that the answers I had long sought were finally ready to unveil themselves. Seated by the edge of the water, I took a moment to breathe, allowing the stillness to seep into my being. It was as if the universe held its breath in solidarity with my own. Gone were the days of anxious seeking, replaced by an elegant unfolding of profound Clarissa realization that had been simmering, waiting for the right moment to rise to the surface. In this tranquil space, I felt the presence of the elderly man, his serene form a familiar sanctuary in my journey. As our eyes met, so too did the unspoken connection we had shared through countless conversations rooted in understanding and compassion. I sensed he was attuned to the transformation blossoming within me, and it urged me to share the urgency swelling in my heart. Today, I feel different, I confessed, my voice trembling with the power of my emerging truth. The shadows and the light within me are not adversaries, but allies guiding me toward a deeper awakening. I understand now that embracing the entirety of my being is essential for growth. But how does one walk fully into this unity, especially when faced with the chaos that surrounds us? He listened intently, allowing my words to flow like the gentle ripples across the pond. The very act of embracing the dualities is the beginning of your awakening, he replied softly. Every experience adds a new hue to your palette, enriching your story. Life will continue to present chaos and uncertainty, however, it is in the acceptance of these challenges that you will discover your strength. Navigating them with an open heart will illuminate the path ahead. His truth enveloped me, lighting the way forward as I reflected on the turbulence I had endured and the fears that had once held me captive. Just like the dragonfly, flitting gracefully through the air, I too could emerge transformed, transcending the confines of my former self. What if the chaos we fear is merely a call to action? I pondered aloud, emboldened by his presence. What if those end-of-times prophecies do not signify despair but a rebirth? A beckoning towards a collective awakening? He chuckled softly, as if sharing a private joke with the universe. Precisely, dear seeker. The end is often a prelude to new beginnings. The chaos can be a wild dance inviting us all to step into our power, to uncover the sacred within us. The struggle, lamentation, and eventual release is an invitation to growth both personally and collectively. To awaken is to recognize that we are threads woven into a larger tapestry. A warmth blossomed in my chest, igniting a flame of purpose. Suddenly, everything I had been grappling with, the prophecies, the signs, the dreams, felt like pieces of a larger puzzle coming together. Perhaps the chaos was not a beast demanding defeat but a phoenix urging each of us to rise, to choose our destinies intentionally. As the sun began to dip low, painting the sky with strokes of orange and violet, a thought lodged itself firmly in my mind. I could almost see the ripples of change emanating from me and intertwining with others, like the very fabric of the universe weaving its tapestry anew. Today marks a turning point, doesn't it? I stated, my courage buoyed by realization. Today, I choose to embrace the unknown, the light and the darkness interwoven, to act upon the call of my spirit and inspire those around me to do the same. The man nodded warmly, as if he had known this awakening would arrive. Remember that sharing your journey encourages others to embark on their own. Your story, your courage, reflects the sacred in us all. To awaken is to recognize that the universe is alive with endless potentials. Your internal journey mirrors the transformation of the world outside. I understood that my journey was not an isolated venture but a collective symphony that resonated through all of existence. Each one of us had a part to play, an echo in a larger song, and we were all invited to dance to its melody. The chaos of the end times prophecies was not a harbinger of desolation but rather a beautiful invitation to face our shadows and discover the light that lived within. With newfound resolve, I stood and faced the tranquil stillness of the pond, my heart aflame with intent. I am no longer afraid of what the future holds. I will step onto the path with courage, embracing the wisdom gained from both my light and my shadows. As I concluded those words, I tossed a pebble into the water, watching the ripples expand outward in glorious arcs of connection. In that moment, I awakened to a profound truth. The essence of consciousness thrived in the acceptance of both light and dark, in celebrating our individual stories as a part of a universal narrative. I felt whole, for now, I was free, bound by neither fear nor constraint. As I turned to leave the park, every step resonating with purpose, I couldn't help but reflect on the journey ahead. I was merely a vessel for transformation, ready to walk the mystical path illuminated by my embrace of duality, and I knew then, as I stepped into the embrace of the evening glow, that in accepting my fragmented self, I could be a beacon of hope for others, a catalyst for awakening, connected to the cosmic dance of existence, transcending the boundaries of fear to embrace the universal truth of our shared humanity. For in the dance of light and shadow, we awaken each of us a vibrant thread in the fabric of eternity.